Vince McMahon's WWE power is said to have been overruled and marginalized by the TKO Group. We also have an update on an injured AEW star, and an ex-WWE superstar is set to wrestle their first match in 3 years. More on that later in the video. Hello everybody, Jack and Ross back again with the new... Well, I wasn't on this morning's one, but we're back
You
again
were,
with the
it was
new,
you,
it
I
was
saw
me.
you. Just a bit taller, a bit posher.
We've got an update on Vince McMahon's role and Triple H's role, kind of, within WWE. This comes from Sports Illustrated, who did a follow-up on their article about the current WWE creative structure over the weekend when they were outlining what Vince McMahon and what Triple H were doing sort of day to day.
Yeah, they said that Levesque, who is the head of creative for the WWE, has overseen all of the creative on SmackDown and Raw since the merger with TKO and UFC and all that sort of bollocks, which is precisely the job his description entails. McMahon remained in the title of executive chairman in WWE, but no longer possesses majority control of the company. That has allowed for change in the new regime, particularly in the creative department.
That's very interesting, because that's kind of the opposite of what we all feared, which was that Vince would use this as a way to kind of sneakily, or not so sneakily, claim back creative control.
Yeah,
that's
what we're all saying. Just like he wormed his way, he went away for a little bit, came up with this merger, and that would be how he get back to where he was before he was ousted, rightfully so. But no, it looks like it's going to be different, and we've all got Ari Emanuel to thank, haven't we?
Yes, the Sports Illustrated piece continues by saying multiple contacts within WWE and UFC have confirmed that Ari Emanuel, who wields power as the Endeavour CEO, is behind the change. Emanuel has long been a firm believer that in order for an organization to be as effective as possible, people need to do the job they are assigned. In this case, that approach has empowered Levesque to exert his full influence in the company's creative sphere.
But if you are a fan of Vince McMahon, do not worry, because the report continues. Not all is lost for McMahon. As executive chairman, his focus is elsewhere, particularly in overseeing a lucrative new media rights deal for Raw and NXT. But it is fascinating. But it is a fascinating time for McMahon. No longer the be-all and end-all of WWE, he possesses an ironclad contract that protects him financially, but not yet politically. Not politically. I can't read.
No, I think, just knowing what we know about Vince McMahon as a person over the years, that might annoy him a bit.
Oh, a little bit.
Yeah.
He's petty as bollocks, isn't he? He's going to want to strike down Ari Emanuel with hellfire and brimstone.
I'm the fearlessness of Ari Emanuel would just say and do all this. I mean, fair play to him, but watch out. Following this report by Sports Illustrated that revealed Triple H had been chosen to lead creative over Vince McMahon, Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio added more, Ross, about Vince's current situation.
Well, he's out of creative. When they were on the verge of closing the deal, says Ari Emanuel did the media rounds and said, Vince will be in charge of WWE, and if me and Vince have a disagreement, it goes the way Vince wants, because Vince is the guy. So then the deal went through, and already Vince is out of creative because of Ari Emanuel, the biggest worker in the business.
Meltzer went on to say that Vince is now in the position that his father was in 1984, when his father had run the company for years and years and years, and then was just an employee of Vince Jr.
Yeah. This must be a weird one for Vince McMahon to sit there and so, because we know he is a big old petty man, but also I reckon he's making more money now than he's ever made, so I reckon he could probably eat this one, take it on the chin, so to speak.
You'd think so, but I sometimes wonder, like, Vince has been rich for so long, is it about the money now?
No.
You know, he probably enjoys being paid a lot, but is it more of a power thing? And if so, he probably thinks, despite the positive reviews that WWE have been getting throughout this year, particularly the first half of the year when like every pay-per-view was delivering on all levels, I bet he hates that. I bet he thinks Triple H is running it into the ground.
Just because it wasn't his vision, wasn't his creative. Yeah. But also, it's fascinating to see that Ari Emanuel allegedly presented the deal in one way before it went through, and now it has gone through. It's playing out in exactly the opposite way.
He's razzle-razzled him, and I don't know how. Meltzer goes on to say, Vince and Kennedy McMahon was the guy making all the decisions, and now Vince was in fact overruled, even though when he merged the company, he was told this would not happen. It did happen. And that statement when Ari Emanuel was talking about the reasons the stock is down, and he mentioned Vince's name, it's a sign that Vince's power is clearly marginalized. There's no way around that.
Well, he's made his own bed as Vince McMahon, as we learn in that paragraph there, so let's just let him lay in it.
Yes, absolutely. Oh dear.
Lovely.
Let's cross the line now and talk about AEW. We've got an update on a recently injured AEW star, Ross. Apparently Sammy Guevara suffered a concussion.
Yeah, that's kept him out of action since AEW Wrestle Dream a couple of weeks ago. Big old Davey Meltzer's provided an update on Wrestling Observer Radio. He says, I know he wants to be ready by Wednesday. I don't know if it will happen, but he had a setback. Overall, he was doing well recovering from the concussion at the last pay-per-view. He should be back relatively soon. A At least that's the hope, because the Wednesday show is right outside of Houston, and that's where he's from, so he really wants to be on the show. I don't know if he's going to be on the show. Yeah. We've got there in 4 to 5 sentences there for Dave to go. I've got no idea what he's doing.
Considering he's a Houston boy, I imagine even if he's not ready to wrestle, maybe he'll be on the show in some capacity anyway. Yeah. Although, well, I was going to say to pop the crowd, but he's a heel now, isn't he?
He is a big old dirty heel with the Don Callis family and that sort of stuff. But if he is going to be missing the show, then being in Houston is obviously a obvious replacement for him there, who belongs to the area.
Yeah,
it's the Undertaker.
Oh right, okay, yeah. NXT superstar the Undertaker. That match, by the way, at Wrestle Dream saw Sammy Guevara team with Will Ospreay and Konosuke Takeshita, other members of the Don Callis family, to beat Kota Ibushi, Chris Jericho, and Kenny Omega, with Guevara getting the pinfall as well, but it wasn't apparently clear, and I didn't notice it at the time where the concussion occurred. But it's good because it's not it's not that long ago that concussions wouldn't have been taken quite as seriously as they are these days.
Oh, absolutely not. No,
get back out there, go on, you're fine.
Yeah, it's not a concussion thing, but I was watching Maven's YouTube channel yesterday, and Maven speaking about breaking his leg, and apparently the first question that was asked of Maven after the match, not to Maven but of Maven, was Vince McMahon saying, did he finish the match? Which is the old man treatment. He broke his leg in the opening spot of a match against Christian on SmackDown, I think it was. But yeah, it's nice to see how wrestling's changed.
Yes, and I know that often wrestlers are the ones wanting to finish the match and everything, and fair play, I understand that, but at the same time, it's good that it's viewed less as a necessity these days.
Yeah.
Speaking of people who've been out of action, someone who's not wrestled for upwards of 3 years is Chris Hero, who is getting back into the ring. Very good. He appeared recently for West Coast Pro Wrestling, WCPW, to make the save for JT Thorne after he was attacked by Timothy Thatcher after their match. This led to Thatcher attacking Hero, and a challenge for a match between the two was set for West Coast Pro Whiplash on November 17th. This is big news. Chris Hero is like a bit of an indie legend in North America, and this will be quite a surprising return to action.
Yeah, because he was part of AEW for a little bit there, doing sort of backstage producing sort of things for the matches, and it was apparently in the news that Tony Khan wanted him to come back and do some wrestling for AEW. You think now that Ring of Honor is maybe there, maybe that's the place that Chris Hero maybe sees himself. Because he seems like a man of great value, not great morals.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like he only wants to do things that are right for him.
Yeah. Although in character, he's apparently a big old fraud, and not Eddie Kingston hates him.
Oh yeah, well, who doesn't Eddie Kingston hate?
Yeah, it's like his rivalry with Claudio Castagnoli, but maybe even a little bit more. When he's like, no one understands what a bad guy this is, partner. I looked, by the way, at what Chris Hero's last match was 3 years ago, expecting it to be like, ooh, what an interesting person he read, but it was a 20-man battle royal.
Was it
NXT UK?
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was won by Ilya Dragunov.
Who's he?
Well,
what did he ever do?
Absolutely. So that'll be very exciting to see indeed. Chris Hero versus Timothy Thatcher. I imagine some people will consider that a bit of a dream match, actually.
Oh, they'll batter each other, aren't they?
I need to find out what Matthew thinks of this. He's probably very excited.
I'll tell you what he thinks. I think that's going to be a fantastic matchup there, pal.
Yes.
It'll be a sport occasion for all of the ages.
Once again, that's going to be at West Coast Pro Whiplash on November 17th. Have you got anything you want to plug, Ross?
Absolutely nothing.
No? Right, okay. Thanks very much, everybody, for watching this news video. Do leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments section down below. I've been Jack, this has been Ross, and we'll see you.
We might as well plug episode 300 of the Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast. It went live last week. Episode 300. 5 and however many months of years. My God.
I literally can't believe it.
Me neither.
One of the mailbag questions said, congrats on the 300 episodes, lads, and here's to at least another 12 more.
Which takes us to 6 years, apparently. That's why he said 12.
No.
Yeah.
6 years.
Aye. Apparently, if you had 12 years on episode 300, that takes us to 6 years.
Did we start the podcast right when?
January 2018. Good God.
That's horrible.
It is.
Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you very soon.